Today's message, while Reverend Christian Sorensen was out of town, is from Kimjera Whittington and was recorded on August 13th, 2017, and it's titled, This Is My Now, affirming, I know what I want and I see it coming to me. And today we welcome the spirit, voice, and talent of singer-songwriter Kenny Dye, who can be found on our website, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Those links are on joyouspodcast.com for this particular episode. Come visit us at our shiny new website at seasidecenter.org, and you can join us in Encinitas, California sometime, where we always have great music, a spirited message, and a joyful, loving community that await you.
So now our guest artist. We are very thrilled and honored to have a beautiful, talented young lady. She's a local talent. Her name is Kimmy Dye, and she has some CDs back there for sale, so definitely want to support your local artist. And if you want to check on her as to where her gigs are locally, she's kimmydye.com. Real simple email, guys. Okay, so you can track her down that way to see where she's playing around locally. So let's put your hands together for a wonderful seaside welcome to Miss Kimmy Dye.
Thanks so much. It's so nice to be back here. I was excited when Rebecca said that she was going to be gone, but then or invited me to come and then said, my mom's going to be there. I was like, cool. I love moms. So it's great to work with you, Leslie. All right. You guys ready? It's going to be fun. Where do you go when you're feeling low? And what do you do when you can't even reach the straps to pull up your boots? And how do you find peace of mind in a world that's gone insane with so much pain? Home, it's where you lay your head to rest. Home, it's where you always feel your best. It may not have four walls or look exactly like the rest, but home is not a place, it's a feeling that you get. The sigh of relief pulling up the drive, the pep in your step that appears when you're looking at the peak of your climb. It's everything that makes you smile and fills you up with joy. It can't be destroyed. Home, that's where you lay your head to rest. Home, it's where you always feel your best. It may not have four walls or look exactly like the rest, but home is not a place, it's a feeling that you get. It's the love and laughter, the happy ever after that you seek. And it's those friendly faces and those cozy places, the space within your heart where you find peace. Home is where you lay your head to rest. Home is where you always feel your best. It may not have four walls or look exactly like the rest, but home is not a place, it's a feeling that you get. Home is not a place, it's a feeling that you get. No, home is not a place, it's a feeling that you get.
Thank you so much, Kenny. That was amazing. Good morning, Seaside. So glad to be here. So I'll tell you a little secret. My talk title is called This Is My Now, which Dr. Christina mentioned earlier. But what's really, really cool is literally, this is my now. Because this is kind of a big deal to be here and to be with you. And for those of you who don't know, I'm a third-year ministerial student, so I'm in my final year. And you don't get asked to do places like Seaside when you're a ministerial student. So I am so incredibly honored and excited and just so blessed to have you all here with me today. So we're going to talk a little bit about setting our intention and what it means to be present and create the life that we want to live. And I wanted to start with telling you a little bit of a story about a documentary. My husband, Brent, who when he goes to bed at night, he loves documentaries and he likes to listen to them because usually they're motivational and there's positive stuff happening. Well, he listens to the positive documentaries. And there's one called Maiden Trip. And this documentary is about a young girl. Her name is Laura Decker. And I highly recommend watching this documentary. And you're going to hear why as I talk through this. But she had set herself on a journey and an intention that she wanted to be the youngest person, boy or girl, to sail around the world alone. Wow, right? Like, that's a bigger intention than I can even imagine. And what was so cool about this story and what she did, it reminded me a lot of my daughter, Kendall. And sorry, honey. I know. I always got to bring up my family when I'm talking. She's like sitting here going, oh gosh, Mom, what is she going to say? But it reminded me of my daughter, Kendall, because Laura is this energy-filled, smart, vibrant, just incredible young girl. She is powerful. She knows what she wants, and no one's going to stop her. And she was raised sailing. So her father was a sailor, and she was raised doing this. And so even at the young age of 10, she lived in the Netherlands, and she sailed even to another country just right next door, but she did it all by herself at age 10. Now I have a 9-year-old, and I'm like, wow, that would be big. And as a parent, to let them go do that would be a definite whole nother talk of surrendering, right? Yeah. So as she did this, right, she set this intention, and her dad said, sure, if you want to go do this and you want to sail around around the world all by yourself, you've got to make it happen. And so Laura set out to do that. She was like, fine, I will work every job I have to work. I will raise the money to get the boat. I will fix up the boat. I will go gather all the maps, because as you know, when you sail, there are certain times that you can actually go through certain oceans, right? There's certain times that the swells are so high that you can't do it. And so she did it all herself. And that's kind of the drive that I'm talking about when we talk about setting our intention, is what Laura did. And what Abraham Hicks tells us, and I know Christian talked last week a little bit about the law of attraction, and we're doing sacred circles right now around his book. But he says, what you think about activates a vibration within you. And I thought, that's so true. And it kind of reminds me of the whole idea of when I'm thinking of the law of attraction, what I am seeking is also seeking me, right? So what I'm looking for, I'm trying to get on that alignment with that vibration, with that energy of what's out there, so that what I am seeking comes in alignment, and together we can co-create a magnificent life, right? Because Spirit wants that for us. And so in this vibration, I think to myself, okay, if I'm going to do this and I'm going to set my intention, what do I have to do? And I think there's 3 things. I call them the 3 S's. So I'm going to give these to you as a takeaway. I think that when we set our intention, we've got to do 3 things. We've got to state what we want. And we have to state it in a way that is clear and that I believe is either in written form or verbal form. Because we do a lot of mind chatter, right? And we think of what we want in our mind. But that doesn't always relate to what manifests for us. But when we write it down or we say it out loud, something amazing happens, because there's a connection to it being said. The second thing we have to do is we have to be specific. And if we're not specific enough, and I don't mean specific in, okay, I want to create a relationship and he's got to be 6'4", brown hair, handsome, he's got to have muscles, got to have a good, no, that's not what I'm talking about, right? It's creating it in a specificity with the feeling behind it, because there's something that happens when we feel it. And so it would look more like, I want to create this dynamic love relationship where I feel sourced. I feel like this person is on the same level as me, that we are dancing together, and I feel love and joy when I'm around them. They make me laugh, right? It's creating that level of specificity. And the third S is we got to be sold. I know that's a funny one, but the reason that I say that is if we're not sold on what we're setting our intention on, then things can get involved and sway us differently. So we have to stand in what we're claiming, right? And we have to believe that we own it. Do you guys believe that you own what you're claiming? Right? That yes, that it's coming. It's going to happen. That's what we're looking for. Sold, right? You got to be sold. And you have, and what I like to say is being sold at the level that again, no one can change it, and that you yourself don't become wishy-washy. Right? Because we can do that. We can let other people's opinions get into our own head, and then we'd start doubting. So if we're trying to create that vibrant, healthy life, and in doing that, we feel like, okay, maybe there's some form of us, let's say, we might have arthritis, and we're saying, universe, I know that I am going to be vibrant and healthy and be cleared of all of this arthritis. And then in the back of our mind, we're saying, but if at least I'm pain-free, that's good enough, right? We ever done that where we kind of give like the caveat? Like, I'll take this if this is too big of a request of the universe. I'll take this at least, right? So that's that plane that we're on when we want to say, you know what? No, my friends would laugh at me because I usually will look at them and go, just no, right? We're not doing that. My friend Missy's laughing. I can hear her. But yes, we want to stand in it so firm that we're like, no, we're not going to accept anything other than perfect health, period. And then the universe comes into alignment. We're on that vibrational plane, and it's like, all right, let's figure out how we can make that happen. And it's with you as you do that. I know that even in my own studies, going into ministerial school, I have had so many people on my path tell me, well, I don't know how you're going to do this, girl. You are a full-time job. You have 3 beautiful children. You have a husband. You have a family. How are you going to do all this? And I'm like, you know what? When I set my intention and I'm called, right? When you're called to something, nothing can stop you. And so my thought is, well, how can I not? How can I not? Going back to the story of Laura Decker, it's kind of crazy how she does this in this story. Is Laura was actually getting herself ready. Like I told you, she was 13 years old. And for that year that she was being in preparation and she was moving her feet and doing the stuff she needed to do, what ended up happening was the country of the Netherlands got wind through media of what was happening. And they actually took her and her father to court to take her away from her father so that they could prevent her from doing what her dream was, right? Can you imagine having an entire country try and prevent you from your dream and your intention? And Laura spent, I think, over 10 months, don't quote me on that, but I think she spent about 10 months in court battling for her right to do what she wanted to do. And she won, right? Amazing. So Laura, in 2010, set sail. She did 519, in 519 days, did 27,000 nautical miles. She started when she was 14. She ended in 2012 when she was 16. And to date, she is the youngest to sail around the world. Yeah, pretty cool. Abraham Hicks also says this, which goes along with that vibrational intention, is he says, the secret of the universe really is minding your own business, right? He says, what we mean by that is, don't get so involved in the desires or the beliefs of others that you cause confusion or chatter in your own vibration and compromise your own alignment. That's what we were talking about, right? Letting other people basically live rent-free in your head, telling you what you can and cannot do, I say no to that, right? And that's what Laura did. She had an entire country trying to do that, and it didn't happen. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about, I don't know if you're familiar with the military, but when Navy SEALs go in, and they're going to go into what's called their Hell Week, they call it wanting to become a frogman on Friday. And there is an article that was written that has always stuck with me because it describes that after you've gone through all of the work and the time to get to that level where you're actually in Hell Week, out of all of the people who are there, 80 to 85% of them never make it to day 3. Wow, right? That's what I said. I was like, are you serious? Are you sure that statistic is correct? But it is. And it's because this is what they do. And I found this so fascinating because it's such a metaphorical representation, but they put a little bell right in front. And then the idea of the people that are working them through the Hell Week is to push them to their lowest of the low and see how they respond. And all they have to do is go up and hit that bell 3 times. They're out. Never come back. Done. Right? But how many of us in our lives have that bell sitting there? How many of us know that we could hit that bell at any time? Right? But what's so interesting is we also have the ability to live just moment by moment and not focus on the bell, but focus on the now. Focus on what's happening right in this moment, because that's where the power ultimately is in the now. So God, Spirit, I'm telling you, you are so loved. God wants you to be successful. God wants you to have everything that you could possibly imagine for yourself and for your life. And I know it because I live it. There are times when I'm like, really, Spirit, really? And yes, it's really happening, right? There's nothing you can do to stop it from happening. It's happening. And what I'm hoping is that you'll walk away from this moment realizing that living presently is where that really lies. That next level of beingness that you want to create comes from being in the now and listening. So I want to tell you another story. And this is probably a little emotional for me because it just happened. And it's regarding a good friend of mine, Misty Miller, who's actually here in the audience, and she's given me permission to tell this story. But Misty and I have been friends for probably over 7 or 8 years. And we're the type of friends where we've done some fun stuff together, and then we might not talk for a while. You have those friends, and then you talk again, and it's like as if you just talked yesterday. Yeah, so that's kind of how we are. And a couple weeks ago, we were chatting, and she, just through the conversation we were having, there was something happening. There was some kind of an energy happening. And she was like, you know what? We need to get together, and I want to introduce you to my mom and my good friend, Tammy, and we need to get together because there's something here that maybe we could co-create together. It was like you could feel that coming up for us. And so we set an intention, and within a couple days, 4 busy people, I don't know how we did it in just a couple days, but again, Spirit was behind us and needed us to come together, and we did. And what I didn't tell you about Misty is Misty was going through some crazy transformation in her life. So she was selling her house, and it was the second time she had just found out that week that it had fallen through escrow. We've all been in a situation where something major like that. And the reason she was selling her house was to move in with her beautiful mom. And her mom is having some health challenges, and so it was really important for her to be there to support her mom. And again, her house had fallen through escrow. She was going through a change in a relationship that she had been in for quite some time and deciding that maybe this wasn't the right relationship for her and making those decisions right now. And so there was a lot going on in her. And as we came together, she was parking her car, and we actually ended up meeting in downtown Encinitas. And she was parking her car and coming around by the 7-Eleven, and there actually was this homeless person sitting there, right? And quite frankly, the homeless person was, talking out loud and had some challenges and, to a lot of people probably seemed a little bit crazy, And so what Misty saw was people doing this. They saw the homeless person and they decided to walk around as far as they could, literally off the curb, onto oncoming traffic, just to avoid having to communicate or be near this person, right? And Misty saw this, and she had this voice inside that said to her, pay attention. Don't do that. Maybe she has something to tell you. And what I was so proud of her for is she listened. And she went right up to the person, walked right near her, and they looked eye to eye. And the person said, dust off your nest. The Son of God is here. And Misty came back, and literally we're all sitting there at this table, and we're like, what happened? And she's like, I don't know. She's like, she explained what happened. She's like, we were locked in eyes, and this is what she said to me. She goes, and I think I need to listen. And we got it. Dust off your nest. Get rid of all the crap. Let it go. Get rid of everything that is blocking you from living right now in this moment. Clear it. And it doesn't matter. The Son of God is here. Whether you want to call that Jesus, God, Spirit, Earth, I don't care. That means that you're sourced and supported right now. There's something greater, and it has you. And she was telling her, you're sourced. It's got you, Misty. And we just started to cry, all of us, because we were like, who listens to a homeless person on the side of the street? But Misty did. She did. And we were so clear. And so what I want to leave you with today is a little bit different than probably what you hear a lot of times when someone gets up here. I want you to go home for the next 24 hours. I want you to actually do nothing. I want you to breathe. I want you to sit in the silence. I want you to connect. Because there's something in you that needs that vibrational oneness for that law of attraction to come into place. And then once you're clear and you've done that, dust off your nest. What do you have to dust off? What needs to go away? What needs to be released so that you can move forward in living a full and present life? Because I know each and every one of you deserve it. God's got you. You're being supported. And that manifestation, that creation is on its way to you. Namaste. Thank you. I'm going to bring back Kenny. And this is a little special treat for you because this was kind of an inspiration for my talk. And she is going to wow you with the most amazing song. So I hope you enjoy.
There was a time I packed my dreams away, living in a shell, hiding from myself. And there was a time then I was so afraid. I thought I'd reach the end, but baby, that was then. And I am made of more than my yesterdays. And this is mine now. I am breathing in the moment as I look around. I can't believe the love I see. My fears behind me, gone are the shadows and down. That was then. This is mine now. I had to decide, was I gonna play it safe? Look somewhere deep inside, trying to hide, to find the strength to take my faith, and this is my now. I am read in the moment as I look around. I can't believe the love I see. My fears behind me, gone are the shadows and doubt. That was then, and this is mine now. And I have the courage like never before. I've settled for this now. I'm ready for more. I'm ready for more. And this is my now. I am breathing in the moment as I look around. I can't believe the love I see. My fears behind me, gone are the shadows and down. And I was then, and this is my now. Can't believe the love I see. My fears behind me, gone are the shadows and down. That was then, and this is mine now.
Was she good or what?